following is a local resident producers program. The program content is the sole responsibility of the producer and does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of CATV2, Oshkosh Community Media Services, the City of Oshkosh, or Time Warner Cable.
Matt DeFlorin, senior defenseman from Cottage Grove, Minnesota.
Max Kerrigan, sophomore forward, Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Eric Vila, freshman goalie from Charlotte, Wisconsin.
Andrew Severson, junior defenseman from Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Caden Paisley, sophomore forward, New Berlin, Wisconsin.
Derek Betts, sophomore forward, West Salem, Wisconsin.
All right. Brett Leshner, freshman forward, Janesville, Wisconsin.
Luke Whitlow, junior forward, Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Thank you. Ethan Leidinger, junior forward, Waukesha, Wisconsin. Tony Grand Prix, senior goalie, Beaver Dam, Wisconsin.
Evan Falk, sophomore forward, Madison, Wisconsin.
Dave Schmidt, freshman goaltender from Appleton, Wisconsin.
Jack Slater, freshman forward, Cedarburg, Wisconsin.
Josh Knudsen, senior forward, Forest, Wisconsin.
Tyler Beckman, junior forward, Appleton, Wisconsin.
Thank you.
Quincy Berg, junior defenseman from Twin Lakes.
Joe Steinhelber, sophomore defenseman, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Joey Wirespoon, junior, Verona, Wisconsin.
Thank you.
Ryan Regans, junior forward from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I'm Corey Chaff. I'm a junior forward and I'm from Franklin High School. Matt Bride, senior forward, Marinette, Wisconsin.
Mark Ponto, defense, Appleton, Wisconsin.
Manny Koenig, senior offenseman from Colorado, Wisconsin.
Hello, my name is Jared Deli, senior defenseman from Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
I'm Jason Atkinson, defender from Monroe, Wisconsin, and I am a freshman.
Hi, I'm Brian Osmond, and I'm here with the head coach of the Oshkosh Titans, Tom Bruning, and one of the senior defensemen and the captain, Jared Deli. And so where did you guys idolize growing up?
Growing up, playing hockey here in town, kind of started the sport. I was on one of the first Bantam teams growing up. It was a new sport and didn't know a whole lot about it. Actually began playing pond hockey in the neighborhood. And it's nice to see the sport growing here in town. Who I idolized, per se, no one in the family really played. Brian, it's hard to say who I idolized, but I've learned a lot along the way.
I would say I grew up playing in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, down by Madison. I grew up being a goaltender most of my life, so I idolized all the great goalies, but being a fan of the Washington Capitals, I think Don Beaupre was probably my favorite goaltender, and then probably Eli Frady too. He had some nice hair playing hockey and had a wicked slap shot.
All right. So what does the start of the ACHA season mean to you?
Well, the start of the ACHA season is always exciting. Being new in the organization, which is a national organization, we're new again. We don't really know much about many teams, so it's so exciting coming out, playing these teams, some for the second time, some for the first, and really getting our feet wet. So again, just a real exciting moment every fall.
As a coach, I think the start of the ACHA season, especially with this being our first full season, really just a lot of excitement to go and improve ourselves. As a young team, you got to play some of the better teams. You got to, take your lumps as you go throughout the season. But I think especially this year, I was really excited to show what our team had to offer, especially being very young. And I think a lot of the teams that we've played, we've earned their respect just based on the level of talent that we have so early in our program's history.
And did you have anything that you prepared for like different this season versus other seasons? Anything different that you wanted to do?
From the coaching aspect, we put together a playbook for the guys. So, we wanted them to be able to see specifically the systems that we wanted to run. We wanted them to be mapped out so they had a guide to kind of go back to, kind of like a study guide in college, that they could see what we wanted to run, why we wanted to run it, and then how to run it as well. And that was something that was new. We also put in their expectations, kind of the main philosophies that we wanted to run as a team. So those were some of the big things from the coaching aspect.
Again, Brian, from the players aspect, what's different about club hockey than high school hockey is finding balance between studies and the sport aspect, and also many of our players work part-time jobs. So we practice once a week, which makes it nice, and time management is definitely key. So coming into the fall, being prepared physically but also mentally is important to find a balance and get everything done that you need to do.
And when you start the games and you're playing these opponents, that being at your second year playing those opponents, have you done anything different to face these opponents and learn from them?
Well, as a player's aspect, as a second-year program even, it's nice knowing what to expect. St. Norbert's had quite a few returning players, quite a few that left, but we knew going in, and we had more confidence knowing exactly that. For example, St. Norbert's, we went 1-1 with them last year. We came back and we split with them again, and that was the expectation. The expectation now was not, let's play this team, it's let's beat this team, and we're meeting those expectations.
And I would say, again, on a coaching standpoint, knowing what the team has to offer, knowing what our expectations are in those games too. From playing last year against Milwaukee that they aren't the strongest of teams, so we knew going into that was going to be a very system-focused game, because if you just let the players do whatever they want, they can get away from the good habits we're trying to build. So that's a good game to work on the specific system things that we want to see. And then from playing teams like Northern Michigan and St. Norbert's, playing those teams again, we know what to expect. We know they're going to come hard. We know that we have to be at our best. So it's making sure that, the players can come ready to play, as Jared said, but also from a coaching aspect, making sure that we have our players ready to go as well.
Mm-hmm. And being that it is a fairly new program, this being its second year, what drew you here from Arkansas?
Well, originally being from Sun Prairie, I did my undergrad at Oshkosh, and had my first full-time job in higher education at Oshkosh. So when things didn't work out in Arkansas, it was natural for me to come back to the one place I knew and knew people and could hopefully help get me a job. And the timing really just worked out. Jared and I knew each other from the adult hockey days, and when I came back, I had the experience working with Arkansas's club hockey team. Jared had all the connections to get the guys going, and we sat down and talked. All right, do we want to make this happen? Why do we want to make it happen? Everything kind of melded, and we just kind of went from there. So really the whole coaching opportunity was more by chance and by being in the right place at the right time than anything else.
That's great. And what are some major differences you faced here versus Arkansas?
I don't think there were a lot of differences. It was nice being at Arkansas. They were transitioning from where we are as a club now to being a national contender. So I was able to see how they were able to do that and really kind of make their focus on being a highly competitive team. I was able to see how they recruited, those kind of things. The major difference is the type of school that we are. UW-Oshkosh is a regional institution. Arkansas was a Research One institution. So it's not that the type of student coming in is different, but the resources that students have are a little different. So we're here, as Jared said, a lot of our players need to have part-time jobs to pay the bills. At Arkansas, they were able to have mom and dad take care of the bills. So that was a big difference. Ice time is a whole heck of a lot different. Down there, they could name when and where they wanted to practice, and they had ice. We're up here, we have to compete, but I think everything's worked out for us, and we're slowly but surely getting to the point where Arkansas is.
And the Oshkosh program has obviously came a long way in just 2 years. What are some of the major differences you want to make from the first season this year, as far as like off ice and on ice, as far as like preparations go and stuff like that?
Well, I suppose I can start with that one, Tom. As students and as student athletes who are aspiring and reaching our professional goals after graduation, the club has really created an outlet to get in the community and involve and show our face. For example, many of our teammates volunteer with the Youth Oshkosh Warbird Hockey Organization. I have coached for 5 years, and I've filtered many of the students into this program. We do learn to skate. There's also 2 members who coach the Bantam hockey team this year. That's one way we give back to the community. So it's not really all about us. We also want to grow the youth hockey organization and the overall hockey community in general.
Yeah, and from I would say maybe the organizational side, last year, first year, we had the players that we had at the university. We weren't able to really sell it to people coming in because it wasn't quite established yet. So we played with who we had here, and we played great with who we had here. Considering we had 16 guys throughout the season, this year we have 25 guys that are rostered with the team. That's a huge difference. So we played with 3 lines last year where we had 4 this year, and we had who we had. This year we were able to recruit a little. We weren't able to recruit how we're doing now, but we were able to talk to guys, come to Oshkosh. We have a team. We can help build you into an aspiring professional through the game of hockey. As we go into the future years, it's really going to be heavily focused on recruiting more, letting guys know we have a team here, letting them know how we can supplement their academics, because we are student athletes, and I would, purposely put that student first, because especially in our case, they need to be students first. They're not going to be going to the NHL when they're done playing for our teams, so we need to figure out how we can be a good supplement to their education.
So far this season, you're about almost midway through, and so obviously you played a lot of tough teams. Are there any games that really stick in your head as far as one of the most toughest opponents you faced this year? And
well, just this past weekend we faced off number 12 regional ranking Robert Morris, and the first game they came out. This would be an example of an opponent that maybe we fear coming in because we're not quite ready. We're not sure if we're ready. So our Friday game we opened up and got beat pretty bad, 6-1. We came back the next day. We regrouped. We understood. It was our senior night, and we knew that we could come back and play better. We came out. We jumped out 3-0. We were ahead, and ended up falling behind 6-4, but came back together, tied it up. Unfortunately, lost in overtime, but that's a game in my mind that we really proved something to not only ourselves, but teams around the region.
Yeah, I would say our toughest opponent probably by far was Northern Michigan University. They come out flying every game. They're well coached. They're kids who have been playing hockey for a long time, and they're there to win. So that, I think, is by far our toughest. But I think our most memorable games, like Jared said, against a Robert Morris team who we knew nothing about. It took our lump the first game, but the guys found out that game that, hey, we can play with the best teams in our region. And then the win over St. Norbert's. Last year we beat them. They weren't ranked. This year, they're ranked. They come out hard. We stand toe-to-toe with them and beat our first-ranked opponent. So to me, that game really sticks out because it's another first in our program's history. But we have a tough schedule. Every team we play from here on out is ranked. So it's really going to show the guys that we can play with the best teams in the ACHA.
would you say another tough part about this league is that there's so many teams and it varies so much as far as skill level goes? Would you say going into any team, it's hard to say what to expect from each team?
Well, that's another thing about the league and about being a college student. We do offer, as long as we communicate in advance, the weekend off for players. So many times this year we go in between injuries and other commitments with not a full roster. So the week before we're resetting our lines, trying our best to kind of create some cohesion between lines so we can go and compete with these teams. As far as going in and not knowing what to expect, you can expect in this league every team's going to bring it. You can't go into a game without a chip on your shoulder, because we found out the hard way a few times this year that it's not going to end in a pretty result.
And, in this league from year to year, it's not like the NCAA. In the NCAA, those teams are recruiting to be a specific type of team. Those kids are playing every weekend, so you know what you're going to get from week to week, even year to year. In the ACHA, Jared kind of touched on it. Kids need off for various reasons. This is, it is one of their first commitments, but they have other equal commitments that they have to make. And from year to year, if players leave and they're not able to replace them, a team can be totally different. So, a team like Northern Michigan, they could be great one year, lose their top players, and now they're a different team because they lose that key player that was either a leader on the team or a big hitter, a big goal scorer. And, from week to week, we do have to mix up our lines. So that's what I think is really unique about the ACHA and really special about it too, that you're going to play a good team, but just because you play them, just like St. Norbert's, one weekend we play them, they score a lot of goals, they're a hard team, we play them the next weekend and we're right there with them, and all that's different is the lines that we have, the injuries that have healed.
So being that it is almost the midway point of the season, are there any main points that you want to change from going to the second half of the season? Any main points as far as like X's and O's goes and stuff like that?
I don't know if it's X's and O's. We just want to be healthy.
Yeah. Like Tom said, we have had quite a few injuries this season. Staying healthy has been tough. But along coming into this next season, we have currently elected new captains, and our program, which started 2 years ago, will be losing 5 seniors. A few currently will be have left in December graduation. I'm real interested to see these new leaders coming in, stepping forward, and filling the roles for our future.
Yeah, like I said, injuries are a big thing. We had 5 concussions the first half of the season. We had a guy hurt his knee, break his ankle, and separate his shoulder. So with that, I think that amounted to 7 guys that were out at one point. So some of our toughest games we played without our best players. But I agree with Jared. I mean, we're at a point where, Jared's been the backbone to this team. He's been the emotional leader, the vocal leader, and now he's stepping back. He has 2 more games left with the team, can help those new leaders kind of transition, and I think those are the most important things that we need to see happen going forward. X's and O's, I think we're right where we need to be. Guys know how to run the system. Guys are executing well. So I'm not concerned about X's and O's. The only thing I'm concerned about is where the leadership's going to be now that Jared and Matt DeFlorin are going to be gone for the second half of the season. But I have full confidence that guys are going to step up and fill those roles too.
And you originally starting in Arkansas, is there any main differences as far as style of play that you've noticed playing teams from around here in the Midwest?
Not that I've really, I haven't noticed a ton. One of the things that there's been northern teams, mainly from Michigan, that have went down south to play, and a guy who publishes a website that follows the Southern hockey, he talked about this style of play in how teams from the north play more as a team than some of the teams from the south. Being with Arkansas, I didn't see that, but we had a coach who was from the north, so he really had his players playing as a team. But some of those teams, you can get where it's 1 or 2 lines, 1 or 2 guys that are doing most of the work. Things that I've kind of noticed as a difference is up north, I think we're a lot more physical than the teams in the south. And I think some of that comes from how they grow up playing. In Arkansas, they maybe had 1 team at each level, if that. So one or 2 guys could skate around the rest of the people on the ice, and when that happens, you don't have to worry about getting hit. So you play more of a finesse game. We're up here, we're more of a grind them out kind of hockey style, and we'll see if those are confirmed when we get down to Arkansas here at the end of next month.
Are there any special things that you want to do just for playing that team versus you would otherwise for any other team?
I want to win. Some of their seniors were there when I started coaching. I'm still good friends with the coach in Arkansas. He's one of my coaching mentors. So, whether we win or lose, I want to show him, that he's taught me a lot, and I'm able to bring that to the players here, and that we have a good competitive style of hockey. So, but getting a win would be great.
Yeah, you can see all the team.
Yeah.
So I noticed that you have 3 jerseys hanging up. That would be the home jersey, and the black, the road, and pink. Was that for Pink the Rink that happened recently?
Correct. This year, last year, I just want to add that a lot of our player dues, we are a self-funded organization. We do receive help from the university, which we have a governing body that is all team and student-led to fundraise. However, a lot of our funding comes directly from our players. So last year we had jerseys that were pretty tattered. This year right away, we worked real hard. We got these new jerseys here. The yellow is our home game jersey and the black is our road game jersey. And then again, for the first time this year, we teamed up with a sorority at the university, and we did a Pink the Rink night raising over $500 for breast cancer awareness.
I see. And so being that you are one of the 5 seniors, is there anything that you look forward to in the next fall, or as far as what your plans are?
One thing that I'm going to miss is playing with the boys. Over the last 2 years, not only have I developed as a hockey player, as a student, as an athlete, but I'm also created some friendships that will last for the rest of my life. I'm really looking forward to the workforce. I'm an elementary education major, and it's my passion. It's what I enjoy doing. I'll continue coaching. I'll continue playing. But that's my fall in a nutshell.
And so are you looking forward to a new group of guys each year? Or?
Oh, yeah. I think really excited for next year. Schedule, we're hoping to stay just as competitive, but working in the admissions office at the university, it's great to be able to see these kids come through and, come in and talk to the university, see about what we have, and be genuinely interested in our hockey program. I was telling Jared before we started here tonight that, I've had 5 kids within the last couple weeks contact me about playing on our team, and that's really exciting because as we start to get more of those students in, I think our program's just going to keep improving. We have a great group now, but as it gets competitive to make the team, we had tryouts this year, but we just had enough guys that we had roster spots, and next year we're hoping to get 30 and 40. One of the unique things about Arkansas is I think this year they had 70 guys try out for about 26 to 28 roster spots depending on what they kept. So, and that's their 4th, 5th year as a program where we're going into our 3rd. And if we can get 35 students here to try out for the team, that'd just be great. But every new season brings a new set of challenges, new talent, and I think at this level of hockey, it really every year makes your team better, no matter what happens.
So, what guy on the team had the best looking hair this year? And that's always a big topic, especially in the midseason.
Yes, there is the hockey hair, and we have a couple current players on the team who are rocking very nice mullets. It's kind of the hockey style haircut. We got Joey Weatherspoon. We call him the Flying Squirrel or Bushy Tail because he's kind of got that real curly mullet. And Matt DeFloren, who just graduated, actually walked across stage with his haircut. I'd have to say his is probably the dirtiest, but it's also the most respected on the team. So we have fun with it. I'm currently trying to grow my hair out, but we'll see how far that gets me in the professional world.
And you guys have nice facial hair right now?
We'll see. We got a tournament coming up potentially. Growing out that playoff beard's also tradition in hockey. So we're also looking to host in the future a tournament at our rink, which we play our games down at the Oshkosh Community YMCA on 20th Avenue. And whenever we do host our games, they're very team-led. So we have officers. Currently, Ethan Meitinger is our game day officer. He plans all the events that go on at our game. We're also very fortunate to have volunteers in Kevin and Jody McGrath. They devote their time every weekend to running our scoreboard. We have people who run our penalty boxes. So these are all things that as a team outside of the game we are learning to do as a group. Planning, we have meetings about bi-weekly. We meet with other organizations within the university. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that without this club I would not recognize and really wouldn't appreciate.
Yeah, from my standpoint, I noticed that this club in particular, as far as if you look at like St. Norbert JV or whatever, they're just a team that plays. This team helps you. It must help you like prepare for like the real world and stuff.
Right. I know a few players on the St. Norbert's JV program, and their fees are embedded within their tuition. So they, I'm not sure what kind of government within the team, if they have officers, how that works. But funding is a big thing for our program, and it's interesting to see. I'm curious to see in the future where this will go. We try our best to do fundraising. We look for local businesses to sponsor our program, and then we give back by attending, going to their restaurant or having them announce at our games, advertising for them at our home games, which typically we bring in 100 to 200 fans on a Friday or Saturday evening.
That's a decent crowd. Do you still do the pregame at the Blue Moon Cafe?
This last year we got down there a couple times. Typically we go down to the New Moon Cafe on Thursdays before a Friday-Saturday series. Aaron Bear and the New Moon Cafe have been large supporters of our club hockey program. Last season in the spring we did a fundraiser with them in the Lighted Schoolhouse program. So he got a group of adult hockey players together. We got a group of our teammates, and we raised quite a bit of money for the Lighted Schoolhouse program, which is a nonprofit organization set up at the elementary schools for after-school care.
This kind of seems like a fraternity, except you get to play hockey and still raise money.
Well, I don't know much about the fraternity stuff, but Tom here might be able to comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think just hockey teams in general mimic that fraternal bond. And no matter what your views are on fraternities, I won't get into that. But, I think this team has really come together nicely, just like the team last year. And, they care for each other, they look out for each other. And I think any team, hopefully, in the game of hockey becomes a nice fraternal bond of players. And, it's great just seeing when you see former NHLers or NHL guys that I've been lucky enough to coach in high school that, they come back and they know you, and they don't care that they played on Team USA, they've done well with different teams, they're making millions of dollars. Like, to you, or to them, you're still just a coach, which is really neat, so.
Yeah. And from the looks of the schedule last year, you ended up like around 6-6, and this year you're 5-9-0-2, and so, you're the same kind of 500 team as you were last year, but you seem to show signs of improvement and stuff throughout players and things. And
yeah, just below 500. I think we, as a team, can definitely get back to 500 this season. It's going to be tough. Our strength of schedule is probably 10 times tougher than it was last year. Last year we played St. Norbert's and Northern Michigan. Those were our tough teams. This year we have 3 teams ranked in our region and 4 teams ranked in our region that we played, and 2 teams that are ranked in Division 3. So schedule's a lot tougher. Guys are responding well, and I think it's just going to help our team grow.
Yep. This year we've had a lot of ups and downs. We started the season real hot, splitting with a UW-Madison program, and then splitting with a UW-Eau Claire program. And then we kind of went on a cold streak. It was real important to get that pivotal win against St. Norbert College to finish the rest of the year down the stretch when we're playing our ranked teams. But I think this year was a great opportunity for us to see where we are as a program. So in the future, when we're scheduling, we know who we can compete with, who's going to give us a run for our money, and hopefully towards February we're there and we're at the regional tournament competing for nationals.
Yeah, because it seems like in just 2 years you're already playing national ranked opponents. I mean, that's pretty impressive that you're able to keep the record that you had last year, and just you seem to be improving very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just about over with the time we have with Tom Bruning and Jared Deli, the Oshkosh Titans. And good luck with the remainder of your season.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.